Hey, welcome Philosopher Kings. This episode we're going to talk about how a little knowledge is actually not power but is dangerous, and why your degree or your training program or all the preparation you did for your job helps you and hurts you simultaneously when you begin your career. Epictetus explains that every great power is dangerous for the beginner. You must therefore wield them or hold them as well as you are able, but in harmony with nature. Now, what's he mean there? He means that when you learn like a great body of knowledge, like law or medicine or business training, or even how to do the trades, you've been given this great power of expertise. When you go to your clients or the people that you're selling to or your patients, they are coming to you as an expert to help them with the assumption that you have knowledge that they do not. The problem is when you have just enough knowledge to be dangerous. That is, you have just enough knowledge to make a quick diagnosis or act confident, but there are really layers of farther training and social abilities that you need to gain in your craft to really be solid. And so it's easy when you graduate college or an advanced training program to assume that you've arrived. You're getting a good paycheck for the first time. Maybe you buy your first car or rent your first apartment, and you have more freedom to explore than you ever have. And you may even have a title. You may be called by your professional trade for the first time in your life, and it feels empowering. But I would just push back that in your career, this is the season to view yourself kind of like a Jedi learner, right? You have this great power within you and this great ability to go forward, but it's potential. And potential, by definition, means you have this great ability for things you have not done yet. And in some respects, you haven't put in the 10,000 hours that really differentiates you as an expert just because you've had the academic training or the mentorship. And so I want you to view yourself as a neophyte or a learner in your career. Proverbs 12:1 says that whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates direction is stupid. And the Hebrew word is actually bara. It means to burn up or consume. The idea is that the wise person loves correction, loves being told, here's how you go farther down the path, and even looks to their coworkers who have been around longer than them as someone that can bring them forward, and they cherish that. And so the gift of that is this love of knowledge and this farthering of their abilities. But the foolish person hates direction, hates correction, hates being told, hey, you could do this a little bit better. Or it might be a relational win if you approached it this way instead. Or have you thought about maybe leading with these words? Or what if you asked a few more questions before you gave an answer? The person who hates this kind of direction and doesn't want to accept it and assumes they've already arrived and already has knowledge, well, the word that's used here is they will burn up. They're stupid is the English translation, but it's really they'll burn up or be consumed because they're out of their depth. And so I would challenge you to think of being in this season as the season of yes. The season of saying yes to taking on more responsibility. The season of saying yes, I'm open to correction and instruction. The season of saying, yes, I'm here to do my best. I'm going to show up on time, even a little early. But yes, I want to be mentored. I want to be shown how I can move forward. I think that that kind of respect and that attitude of humility not only goes a long way, it's proven true for me in a few seasons of my life. It proved true for me when I was a new pastor and straight out of seminary and began working with students. And people would call me Pastor Mark and assume that I had some kind of authority from my training. But in reality, I needed to make like 100 decisions and see the consequences before I really deserved that kind of authority. You might say my internal authority didn't match the external authority that I had been given by the title alone. When I started teaching in the classroom, it was an entirely different skill set. The idea of classroom management and leading a group of people towards a body of knowledge and a result over time took me stepping back and saying, I might know a lot about classics, and I might know a lot of ancient history, and I might know a lot of languages and about ancient culture, but I have some work to do in growing as a teacher. And the assumption I have that communication has happened just because I have spoken could not be farther from the truth. And so I had to step back into a season of yes and say, yes, I'm open to fellow instructors who have advice or who have been teaching in the classroom longer. If you view yourself as in a season of yes, or as almost like a Jedi learning under a master, you recognize that yes, you have this great potential and confidence that you do carry from your training, but it's going to take time to really be a master. It's going to take reflection to really be solid. And it's going to take getting knocked down and getting back up. When I think back over my career trajectory, it was actually the worst and most painful moments where I grew the most in working with people well, letting my customers or clients or parishioners know that they were appreciated and loved and that I was for them. And now I have some expertise for you. Trust is something that is earned, and as a professional, people are coming to you hoping they can trust you with their expertise. And only over time do you learn how to wield that with power. And so Epictetus' advice that to recognize you're playing with fire, you've been given this great gift of title and a job to do, and trust that you can work for a company or a practice is not the same as putting in the 10,000 hours. And so we have to wield them as best we can, but recognize that knowledge is powerful and we have to grow into it over time. I hope this has been helpful. Please do me a favor and share this with anyone else you know that's in their early career or young professional career, taking their first steps. Those first 5 to 7 years really are about learning and growing, and Philosopher Kings is a community designed for you if you're in that phase, and anyone you know who is too. And so don't be afraid to spread the word. We'll take all the help we can get. Bye, everyone.